Alright, so Dodongo's Cavern. Now, I think this is unique amongst the areas in this game, that you don't get the first introduction to the area until you blow this wall open. Although, actually, the final dungeon might have something similar where the introduction is delayed. So this dungeon is a good reason to have the Hylian shield, which I think I'll equip now, actually. It'd be a good idea. Because the Deku shield is wooden, it burns if anything fire touches it. Not that way, I think this is the first way. Yeah, and then we circle around the other route. Alright. Try and remember how the dungeons go. The main concern is going to be once we get to the second set of dungeons. Because the first three, remember, fine. The second set, the... I'm going to say 6 that follow. They're more complicated, and I don't remember them as well. I mean, I've played this game a lot, but you'd be surprised how little of that time was actually spent in the dungeons. Alright, so we move this, because that switch requires constant pressure. We can step on it, once we step off it'll lock the door again. So there is mentioned earlier the GameCube version. There you go. And now the other one's going to come at me. Mentioned earlier the GameCube version. The GameCube version did actually... I hit him then, why did he take damage? So yeah, I mentioned earlier the GameCube version. The GameCube version has some visual and text differences. Where's the other one? To reflect the fact that it's on GameCube rather than N64. For example, the buttons at the top are a different colour. Because the A button on GameCube is green, the B button's red. And so they've changed the icons to reflect that. They also don't call it Z targeting anymore, or Z targeting. It's L targeting. And they retained that change in the 3DS remake. Although since the N64, the Nintendo systems have been unique in having the Z button. Okay. And here we have our introduction to proper Dodongos. Which is something of a legacy enemy, actually. They were in the first Zelda, although, to be fair, so was Goma. Yeah, I don't need this. Alright, so this is a puzzle room. More Deku sticks. Like this. I feel like I missed one. But we'll find out. No, I didn't. Awesome. I put it away before my stick burns. And we're back to the main hall, and we can press this switch. Opens the door on the other side, and off we go. Yeah, I wonder if the GameCube version is more stable. I haven't played it in years. Partly because, you know, it has like the same issue that the Wii and the Wii U Virtual Console versions have, in that you're mapping the C buttons to an analog stick. And it still has all the same problems, but it is technically an enhanced version. I wonder if they fixed the frame rate, because really I'm noticing a lot of frame rate issues here. Like, the game's just straight slowing down in some areas, like... as we came back into the boom, it just... speed dropped. Now, as far as Master Quest goes, I'm not entirely interested in doing it. Although I don't want to say I'll never do it, because, you know, keep going long enough, I'll do everything. I mean, not everything, but, you know, go long enough. But for the most part, I'm not overly interested in Master Quest. I never actually finished it. Because I do have Ocarina of Time on the GameCube, so I have Master Quest. And... you know, I'm sure that's supposed to work. Oh, that worked. So yeah, I have the GameCube version of Ocarina. It came with Master Quest. Master Quest is... it's the original Ocarina, and the big bonus of it was that it came with the never-before-released Master Quest. And all it really is a reworking of the dungeons. Which is both good... it's a good idea, the execution's kind of... yeah, I glanced away from the screen for a second, and the next thing I knew, I was running off the edge. Yeah, reworks all the dungeons, that's it. The bosses aren't any more difficult. Nothing on the overworld is different. It's just a dungeon. Enemies, pathway, the path you take and the items are different. The layout isn't actually different. How many is that? 6, alright. And it's an interesting idea. I think it has really poor execution, because more often than not, it's just a lot of time wasting and a lot of frustration. That said, I have heard the water temple in Master Quest is a lot simpler compared to the original game. But when I was playing it, I only played up to the fire temple, so I never did the water temple. And I've started it since then. It comes with Ocarina 3D, which is a really nice idea. And what they do with that is they mirror the entire game, like Twilight Princess on the Wii. They mirror the entire game, and all the enemies do double damage. Which, I'm not overly fond of either of those ideas. There it is. Because it's an idea I've never been fond of. A hard mode only really increasing the difficulty by making the enemies hit harder. Oh. And it's not an idea I really like. It's like with Fire Emblem. I don't understand why you would want to play the harder modes of Fire Emblem, because all that changes is you do less damage, enemies do more. Now, if the enemies were smarter or had specific tactics or different units appeared on different areas, sure. But just making them do more damage and you do less isn't interesting to me. It's like the Devil May Cry series. When you play on higher difficulties, the enemies usually some of the enemies end up with new attacks that you have to deal with that they didn't have on normal difficulty. Gotcha. Oh, that frame rate. You know, it's been so long since I played this on Nintendo 64, I didn't realise the frame rate got this bad. It's like recently did Majora's Mask on Nintendo. Which one of you is going to fight me? Recently did Majora's Mask on 64 for the stream, and the frame rate was not this bad, although that could be because of the expansion pack. Again, why did it take so long to start registering damage? But yeah, that could be because of the expansion pack. But wow, you know, it's been that long since I played Ocarina. The last time I played Ocarina on Nintendo 64, I never really noticed frame rate issues. And when I say that, I don't mean that I never noticed frame rate issues in the game. I mean that I just didn't notice frame rate issues at all. But, you know, in this day and age of everyone paying so much attention to the frame rate in basically every aspect, I have become more aware of it, and I can notice more easily now when the frame rate starts to drop. And I wish I could, honestly. I wish I was still kind of oblivious to that. It made everything so much easier to play. It's like one of my favourite games on Vita, because I love the Vita, and one of my favourite games on the Vita, Earth Defense Force 2017 Portable. Now, Earth Defense Force is Dodongo when it sees red, a new will go. A new way to go will be open, which is a hint. But yeah, Earth Defense Force 2017 Portable. The Earth Defense Force series is known for its grand spectacle, loads of enemies on screen, and its poor technical performance. And Earth Defense Force 2017 is no exception to that. It is essentially it's a port of Earth Defense Force 2017 from Xbox 360 to the Vita. And it has everything. It has some extra stuff. It has, I think, a few extra missions. It has a completely new character to play as, which is really neat. But like Earth Defense Force, the frame rate... I played through it fine when I first got it. I loved that game. It was so much fun. It's what got me into the Earth Defense Force series. I went back to it last year, the year before maybe, and I couldn't help but notice the frame rate. But you know, that's a game that I'd be interested in doing, actually. Although, you know, chances are I will not get a full playthrough out of that. It's very repetitive. Oh, that worked. Didn't work the way I'd hoped, but I got something out of it. But yeah, it's very repetitive. It's mission-based, just kill giant bugs, giant alien bugs. Alright, so what you're supposed to do here is push this. You have to push this block to push this block off, So you can get over there and push that block, so you can get through there. The easier thing to do is to just climb this, and then just walk across. Easy as pie. There we go. Yeah, maybe I'll do the Earth Defense Force series as a weekend one-off sometime. I don't know. Because what I forgot. I have 2017 portable on Vita. I have the original 2017 on 360 now. It's backwards compatible on Xbox One, and they put it on Games with Gold. So I have that. They put Insect Armageddon and 2025 on backwards compatible as well, weirdly. So I have all of those. I have Global Defense Force, which is the... it's Earth Defense Force 2. Earth Defense Force 2 was not released in the US, but it was released in Europe as Global Defense Force. So I have that on PS2. I have the Vita redo of it, which is just Earth Defense Force 2 Invaders from Planet Space. And I also have Earth Defense Force 4.1, The Shadow of New Despair. I don't have Earth Defense Force 5 Iron Rain yet, but I will pick that up at some point. And here we are at the next boss. And again, like Gomer, pretty impressive looking boss. More so in the spectacle than anything. The idea of something this huge and dangerous being the second boss is like, wow. Alright, now get out of the way. If anything though, the bosses start pretty big. This may be the biggest boss. Like, size-wise. So that jumping slash, I think does double damage of a normal sword slash. Over here. Jeez. Damn it. You know, I've never had this fight be this awkward with this guy before. Oh, now you want to turn the right way. There we go. Never had him do that before, that was weird. He did it twice. So it rolls into the lava pit in the centre of the stage. Dies. And its body temperature cools the lava down. And the lava hardens into just solid rock. Honestly, pretty spectacular way to go. All of the bosses have unique death animations, which is really neat. It's like, you see Gomer, and the way it falls apart, you'd kind of assume, oh, that's a really neat effect. I guess every boss dies like that. No. Every boss has unique death animations. Thanks, Darunia. Can eat delicious rocks from Dodongo's Cavern. So the Dodongos weren't supposed to be in the Dodongo's Cavern, but then why was it called Dodongo's Cavern? Yeah. Who knows? What a mysterious adventure. I don't know what that means, but okay. Well, you know, I'm glad he didn't shoot a fireball at me. That's 2 of the spiritual stones. 1 left. And there's a couple of things for us to do now, but not as much as between the Great Deku Tree and Dodongo's Cavern. Uh oh. Yeah, I'll say no to that.